Chuck, what are you doing, man? Hey, whoa. We did that already.
It's a flashback. Isn't that what the show's about?
Yeah, but just because the show's doing it doesn't mean we have to. Hello and welcome to the Nerd Guard. I'm Phil.
I'm Chuck.
And today we're diving into the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm.
Yes.
Is that what it was? The Gathering Storm?
The Gathering Storm.
Yeah. So we've got some thoughts about this one. And
Yeah.
you may or may not be on board. But
I mean, it is what it is.
it is what it is. And Chuck, I think you said it best. It's a filler episode.
Yeah, and it pains me to say that because while I did like it and it did move the story, although I liked it less the second time I watched it than the first time.
Yeah.
And it does move the story. It felt like a filler episode.
It really does. And, we see where alliances start, great, but there's some stuff that we see in the episode that we just plain didn't need to see again.
Yeah, there's a couple things, notably, the most egregious one is the Sarlacc, I think.
Completely. We've dealt with the Sarlacc already.
Yeah.
It's done. It's over with. And I didn't even understand why Boba felt the need to go back to the Sarlacc pit when we know he escaped with his armor.
Yeah. I mean, he must be not remembering. You must have been that out of it that he doesn't remember the Jawas stripping it off of him.
Sure, which it could be.
Which is
to
possible,
be fair.
But even if that's the case, okay, say that's the case, I don't know why you need to spend 10 minutes of story, 5 minutes of story, however long it was, on that.
It felt like 10 minutes.
Long time.
It was unnecessary to the story, right? To me,
really
it's
was.
something that you throw in. That's something that is to me, as a creative person, storyteller, that you throw in as filler. And,
Sure.
You could have gone and told this story without ever explaining that part, because we already know how he got his armor back.
I want my armor. That you got from Cobb Vanth back on Tatooine. It belongs to me.
We do.
We saw it in The Mandalorian.
Right.
You don't have to show us again.
Well, and that brings up another good point. The one redeeming quality of that scene, in my opinion, was they dropped the seismic charge into the Sarlacc pit and killed the Sarlacc, which it's cool to see a seismic charge again. But again, we saw that in Mando.
It was unnecessary. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, completely agree. It was completely unnecessary.
And the next one to me is retrieving his ship.
Yeah. We know he has it back.
Yeah, we saw him flying in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We don't need to know. I mean, this isn't... I know the series is called The Book of Boba Fett, but it doesn't need to be the encyclopedia of Boba Fett.
Sure.
We don't need to know every single stinking thing that happened to him between we last saw him in The Mandalorian and now, or the last time we saw him in Jedi.
Sure.
And now you can tell a compelling story without that. And I'm to quote Commodus, I'm vexed. I'm ever so vexed. I don't get why, because Favreau wrote all the episodes, and Filoni is executive producer with him, and I don't understand. Maybe there's something we're going to see in the final 3 episodes that makes this all make sense as a whole, and I'm just too dumb to see it. Because right now I don't understand why we're seeing some of the stuff that we're seeing. It doesn't make sense. It's like they don't have enough juice for the story, and it's Boba Fett.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you don't need to put in, a cyberpunk tattoo parlor.
Yeah, and that
with
I didn't
Matrix
like that
music.
part of it.
You don't need the revisit.
He was
of
at
the
a Ripper
Sarlacc
dock.
pit.
For those of you who've played Cyberpunk 2077, he was at a Ripper dock. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of choices that they're making that don't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to us. Now, the one thing I did like, though, is, in retrieving his ship, he does rename it.
Yeah.
Officially in canon. But if you take a look back, he didn't really rename it. The fire spray, as he calls it, was the original name of that ship.
Yeah.
I've never seen a ship like this. What is she anyway?
She's a fire spray pursuit special, one of 6 prototypes manufactured for the prison. She's the last of her kind now.
It was Jango Fett that stole it from a prison, an Imperial prison, actually, and named it the name that it had as he's leaving because he's just upset.
Sure.
But it was originally called a fire spray.
But it is cool like that once again they reached back into the legends, right? And
Sure.
to another medium, right? That a long time ago that, Filoni probably played that game himself.
Yeah.
That they reached back and pulled something from that into canon once more.
And that's cool. The game in question is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, which was on PS2. And I played it as it released and got it on PS4 when the PS4 came out with all that. And it's a great game. It really is a great game. It tells the story of how Jango became the subject of the clone army, or became the,
how the Caminos chose him, or the Darth Master Sifo-Dyas, which was actually a Sith Lord.
Tyrannus.
Yeah, Darth Tyrannus chose him. Yeah, sure.
Sifo-Dyas. Is he not the Jedi who hired you for this job?
Never heard of him.
Really?
I was recruited by a man called Tyrannus on one of the moons of Bogdan.
Curious.
Exactly. So it's a great game. If you get a chance to check it out, check it out. They've got it. You go on the PS4 PlayStation Store. You can get it. I have it. It's cool.
Yeah.
But aside from that one thing and one other, I'm really not happy with the episode. The other thing that we really did like is Krrsantan's back.
Oh, yeah. I expected that. I mean, it's... You wouldn't introduce a character like that to not use him.
Right.
To me, logically. And especially a Wookiee. Right? Wookiees are fan favorites. I love that Wookiee.
Without a doubt.
People love Wookiees. And,
then we've got a darker take on a Wookiee than we've seen.
Yeah, he's a cool one. And he's a badass.
Cool Wookiee,
And it makes so much sense. If you're going to be the daimyo and you got this freaking gladiator Wookiee sitting around, you're going to employ that guy.
Well, and why?
And now you got a Rancor too. So you got a Wookiee and a Rancor, yeah.
Yeah, so what we were talking about, Boba can do that now. He can ride down the street in a Rancor with Krrsantan.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Of now that he's got his Wookiee and he's got a Rancor, he's kind of... One of the other things too that they're doing is they're subtly changing the context of Boba's character in this show. That, we'll see if it's for good or for ill, but... the old school Boba Fett, right, that everyone fell in love with in Empire Strikes Back.
He was ruthless.
Ruthless, right?
Absolutely.
And that Boba Fett would have had those guys in that room in Jabba's palace and been like, oh, you don't want to join me? Into the Rancor pit.
Where's the button?
Boom.
Gone.
Done. He'd Michael Corleone him.
Yeah.
And this Boba Fett's kind of like, okay, I'll fight by myself.
Then I will fight these battles alone. I will vanquish these interlopers who threaten our planet. I will make the streets safe again, so all in this room can prosper.
Sure.
Hopefully he's got in a back pocket some kind of devious scheme that's going to be a little bit more Boba Fett that we're not seeing.
That'd be great.
Because right now he's a kindler, gentler Boba Fett.
Sure.
And it just doesn't add up to me.
Well, and that's the same with releasing Krrsantan. I mean, there's no sense in releasing him. I mean, he's a gladiator.
You could convert him to employee, which is what I would have just done then. Been, look, dude, you can be free, but you work for me now.
But no, you got to let him go to the bar, get drunk, and throw around a bunch of Trandoshans before you actually hire him.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
It's just silly. Silly.
Unnecessary.
So, all right. Regardless, it was better.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we hate it. I didn't hate the episode.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
The first time I watched it, I actually really liked it. But it's slow. And the whole series is slow and so far. And it's not bad. It's just not what I expected. Maybe that's me externally dealing with. It's not what I expected.
Sure.
But I will say I continue to be puzzled by why they're telling so much of this story with flashback. I mean, that storyteller 101 is that you use flashback sparingly, and far be it, who am I to tell Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni how to tell a story, right? Honestly,
No, they're good at it.
they're
They are.
They're amongst the best in the business.
Sure.
I'm just kind of puzzled as to why they're doing it this way. Why couldn't you just have everything that's a flashback in real time,
Yeah.
and then skip ahead, do a time jump, have a second season with the other stuff? You know,
Sure.
spend the whole first season just not as flashbacks, but as real time. I don't. I'm kind of puzzled by it.
Well, the nice thing is Boba's flashback tank, is
Completed its cycle.
it's done. He's completely healed.
Congratulations, Master Fett. You are completely healed.
So maybe we won't need the flashback tank
Boy,
anymore.
it would be great
It would be.
if the next 3 episodes are no flashback.
Yeah, well, and again, it's as you say. I have faith in Jon Favreau and Dave
Me
Filoni
too.
as storytellers, and hopefully in the next 3 episodes we'll see what the point of all this was. And again, like I said, we didn't hate the episode.
No, it's just surprising that they've taken so many non-traditional Star Wars chances with a character like Boba Fett.
Sure. But at the very least, we did not see the Mighty Morphin Water Stealers in
That's
there.
true. We didn't.
So that was kind of nice. Either way, I think that's going to wrap it up for Chapter 4 of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I would like to remind you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify.
We out there.
And we just added all of our stuff on SoundCloud and Spotify. So
big drop.
if you don't want to look at our ugly mugs, you can go ahead and just listen to
blame
it.
you.
It'll be cool. And with that, we will go ahead and say,
What's on your nerd card?